This video is brought to you by the Professional Photographers of America. Join a community of over 35,000 photographers and find equipment insurance, education, and business tools made for small business owners like us. Welcome back, everyone. In this week's video, we're going to talk about feathering your light. Feathering in general just means where your light is pointed. To feather, it often means pointing it slightly in front of your subject. This technique is primarily used to control light, enhance texture, and dimensionality. Before we get started, I just want to give you a bit of a roadmap. First, I'm going to show you a quick comparison between feathered and direct light, which will show you why I think you should feather. Then I'm going to dispel a myth that feathered light is softer. And finally, I'm going to show you the secret to placing your light, which I like to refer to as being in the L. During this demo, instead of pointing the light directly at Annika, I've got my Elechrome light mode of 120 centimeter softbox over here on camera left, aimed slightly in front of her. This is what photographers mean when they talk about feathering the light. All right, to make things a little more interesting, I'm going to add this it's a very large strip box over here. I think it's 30 centimeters by 177 centimeters, so about 1 by 6 feet. It's going to be turned down really low, and the reason I'm using it is I just want to create an edge highlight along her body to separate her from the background. I'm shooting at f2, and the reason for that is I want all this molding to go out of focus, and then maybe it won't look so fake. Adding this strip box will help us make a better image, but it won't substantially change our feathering demo. So don't think that that's changing what you're going to see. To show you the opposite of feathering, I'm going to point the light directly at her and shoot a test frame. If we compare the images, you'll see that the feathered image on the left has a darker background and more contrast. The image on the right, the directly lit image, is flatter and the background is more evenly lit. To me, the feathered image on the left is clearly better because the light has so much more character and dimension, making her body look more three-dimensional and visually appealing. If you feel differently, please let us know in the comments below. Also, while less common, you could feather your light towards the background in order to make the background brighter, but for the most part, you're going to point it in front of the person. And while we're on the topic of enhancing your photography skills, have you ever heard about the Professional Photographers of America? PPA is an incredible resource for photographers of all levels. Whether you're an aspiring photographer looking to kickstart your career, an established professional wanting to stay updated with industry trends, or a photography enthusiast aiming to turn your passion into a profession, PPA has something for you. Joining PPA gives you access to a wealth of benefits, including equipment insurance, educational resources, business tools, and a supportive community of over 35,000 photographers. Plus, you'll get free access to Imaging USA, the leading photography conference, during the first year of your membership. And speaking of imaging, I'll be speaking there this year, so you'll definitely want to attend in order to learn from me and the other educators. By becoming a PPA member, like me, you'll not only improve your skills, but you'll also expand your network and elevate your photography business. Click on the link in the description to join PPA today and get a $25 discount on your membership. Don't miss out on this opportunity to be part of a vibrant and thriving photography community. Now let's head back to the studio to examine if a feathered source is indeed a softer source. There's a common misconception that feathering makes the light softer. For years, I believed this to be true, but after conducting tests for this video, I no longer think that to be the case. And this is what I love about creating content for you. I'm always testing what I've heard over the years and then learning along the way with you. However, to be clear, I always did and I still do believe that feathering is the way to go, but my understanding of what is happening has changed, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. After looking at the images of Annika, I noticed that the feathered image had more contrast than the direct image, and the light actually looked harder than the direct light image. So to better understand what was going on, I set up this demo with me up against the background and the light pointed straight at me. Notice how defined my shadow is. Many claim, including several videos here on YouTube, that feathered light is softer. Let's test this theory. If feathered light is indeed softer, then we should see less defined shadows when I point the light in front of me, feathering it. But as we look at this comparison with the direct light image on the right and the feathered image on the left, you'll notice that my shadow is more defined with the light feathered. When the light is pointed directly at me, it acts as a large light source. But as I feather it away, the light source appears smaller from my point of view. You've probably heard this idiom before. A smaller light source relative to the subject creates a harder light. That's what's happening here. I went from seeing a large portion of my field of view occupied by the modifier to only having a small sliver filled with the modifier. This effectively creates a smaller light source and creates harsher light and more defined shadows, not softer light, as we would expect given all of the hype. All right, so when it comes to placement, you want to make sure that the bottom of the modifier is equal with their jaw and the back side of the modifier, away from the camera that's over there, that it's in front of their face. Because if you draw a line from the back of the modifier and across the bottom of the modifier, where those two lines meet, that's what I like to call being in the L. So if I held my hand up like this, it would make that loser symbol, at least as you can see it from your perspective. So the capital letter L, and right where the thumb comes together and the index finger comes together, that's generally where I want the person's face. The reason for that is that the distance from the far side of the modifier to the far side of their face is pretty similar to the distance from the close side of the modifier to the close side of their face. That makes that light across their face very even. When she comes up too far, it's going to make it so that her right ear is going to be too bright and her left ear is going to fall off into darkness rapidly. So that's why you want to make sure that you've got the person in the L. Now that we've captured some shots with the light feathered on our left, I'm going to aim the light directly at her. If you're interested in checking out any of the gear that I'm using, including my Studio Titan camera stand, please click on the links on screen and in the description. And then you got to turn your head to the right because of where the light's coming from. Great. To finish up the shoot, I moved the light over to this side of the set on her left so that she could turn to her left and we could see the slit in her dress. So having it on the right wasn't the best strategy for that, and I think this will be a better way for us to finish the shoot. So turn your head more to towards the light, and then let's get this leg over. Like, bring your bare leg over. Yeah. All right, I hope these demonstrations helped you understand the difference between feathering the light and pointing it directly at your subject. While feathering can create a more pleasing image, sometimes you're just going to need to point the light at your subject because you need the background to be brighter. Remember, if you want to feather your light, you'll likely want to use a softbox. Using a shoot-through umbrella can be problematic because the light will go everywhere. On the other hand, feathering a beauty dish is not going to work because that can result in your subject being able to directly see the flash tube, and that's going to create really harsh light. So a softbox is likely going to be the ideal modifier for feathering to achieve the best results. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Also, remember to click on the link in the description to save on your PPA membership. I will have a tutorial for you soon comparing continuous lights and flash from my shoot with Annika. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and sign up for the bell so you won't miss out on that video. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.